I want to take you straight to the Colorado flood zone where there was more rain overnight and where the forecast is calling for another round of precip today. The scale of the rescue operation this morning is staggering. Hundreds of people, many of them children, plucked from their homes by choppers, not knowing when they'll be able to return or what they will find when they do. And ABC's meteorologist Ginger Zee is on the ground right now. She's leading our coverage. Ginger, good morning.
Hey, good morning to you, Dan. And I've got to tell you, yesterday I told you about some of those rivers that were feet above their record stage. Well, I'm standing on one, or what is the runoff from one. The South Platte River is still about a quarter-mile away. This is a road that is now raging over. We've seen a bunch of wildlife coming up. It's all very disrupted here in Colorado. And there's more to come. Flash flood watches and warnings I'm showing you right now on the map. Green is a flash flood watch. Red is a flash flood warning from New Mexico up here through northeastern Colorado. An absolute mess with widespread rain on the way. This flooding still writing history. Colorado consumed again.
This is devastating.
Drama on high as the unyielding waters force hundreds of rescues.
I think what we have is the greatest number of Americans rescued by helicopter since Hurricane Katrina.
All that fresh flooding, up to 4 inches of rain laden in hail, smothering Aurora. At least 4 people are confirmed dead, almost 600 unaccounted for.
Shock. It's unbelievable. I've never seen this much water anywhere.
At least 7,000 people evacuated from their homes. 85 students trapped by floodwaters finally airlifted out of those mountains safely. And in the foothills, the South Platte River overflowing at an alarming rate. Just look at this time lapse that we set up with our camera. Floodwaters devouring the farmland in less than a half hour. Right across the street, piles of dirt lined up to protect Tiffany Thompson's vulnerable home. Her girls and pups making the escape just in time.
I've never been in an evacuation, and it feels kind of scary.
Neighbors Marianne and Joseph watching in disbelief. Their home surrounded by that creeping water. A half hour ago, you were just over there and it was dry.
Yeah, we were walking all around the house. It was dry.
Across Colorado, graveyards of debris, homes piercing homes, roads obliterated, and everywhere you look, families holding on together. Now you saw that time lapse. It was almost like yesterday we were watching it rise before our eyes, and it will happen again today. Let me show you the forecast. The numbers are still not looking good for a lot of places that don't need this rain. We're talking about another 1 to 2 inches if you're in that purple area, and it will dry out eventually. I want to show you what's going to happen. This all starts to move out, and by Tuesday, drier air moving in, kind of a westerly flow trying to take over. We'll try to get this wrapped up and a little better by the midweek. I'll be coming back with your nation's weather. For now, back to the studio.
Tuesday can't come soon enough. All right, Ginger, thank you. Well, President Obama signed an emergency declaration ordering extra federal aid to Colorado, including FEMA, to help local response efforts, including rescuing residents cut off by washed out roads and swollen rivers and creeks. The intense operation now involving a massive effort by the Air National Guard. And on the phone with us now is Lieutenant Mitch Utterback. And Lieutenant, thank you so much for joining us in this pressing time for you. This is being described as the biggest air rescue since Hurricane Katrina. How is it going right now?
Well, right now, the rescue operation concluded at about 2 o'clock this morning. The last troops that were out moving supplies and people around got their heads on a pillow after 2 o'clock. It's been raining here in Boulder since late last night. The helicopter pilots are just going to be waking up now. We'll have a morning briefing with the incident management team at 7. And then the pilots will brief at 7:30, and we'll see what's going to happen with the weather.
Well, these numbers are just daunting. 600 unaccounted for, 7,000 evacuated. Thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck to you and your operation, Lieutenant Colonel.
Thanks for letting everybody know what we have going on out here. We appreciate it.
Of course. Dan?
A massive operation, and this morning we do have a unique and dramatic perspective on this disaster. A local company in Boulder sent up this small drone equipped with a camera and captured this flood as we have not seen it before. Check it out. The camera glides smoothly over scenes of utter chaos, roads that have become rivers, and rivers that are now so high they almost touch the bottom of bridges. You can see neighborhoods swallowed by mud. You can also see rescue and emergency teams surveying the damage. And then the camera hovers low right over the water itself, angry and brown, flowing violently over everything in its path. Take a look at images like this and this. You can really get a sense from these shots of the sheer destructive power of the current. Indelible images of a disaster that will leave a lasting mark. It's remarkable to see that because usually we get chopper footage, but that's from really high above it, and this is right over the water. It's extraordinary to see.
Images are incredible. Well, as we often see amidst tragedies like this comes acts of courage and kindness. Good Samaritans risking their own lives to save our four-legged friends from the floodwaters. ABC's Clayton Sandell is in Greeley, Colorado with some of these incredible rescue stories. Good morning, Clayton.
Hey, good morning, Bianna. Like so many Colorado neighborhoods this morning, this one is covered in a layer of water. The floods rose so quickly here, it was nearly impossible to get your animals out. That rescue job fell to a group of modern-day cowboys. When so much is lost, heroes emerge in the most unexpected places.
Come on, Henry.
Across Colorado, coming together to help those who can't help themselves.
There's 8 more horses back in there. There are 2 people out there with them.
In this community in Weld County, countless livestock left trapped overnight by rising floodwaters.
We just started grabbing horses. It was like you've never seen before.
This 2-year-old quarter horse was stranded for 24 hours in freezing floodwaters up to his haunches. His rescuers using found inner tubes to tow him to dry ground.
Treat him for pneumonia.
His saviors refusing to leave his side.
I'm happy right here.
This morning, he's alive and stable. Everyone pitches in, perhaps no one more than this man.
And I went in the barn to catch the horse, and I could hear the goat.
Sheriff's Deputy Dan Perusek began his search Friday night when the floodwaters first moved in.
The current was carrying them away, and I grabbed them, and they're safe too.
We were there Saturday as he and his neighbors rescued 18 steeds, along with an assortment of llamas, donkeys, and cattle. Time after time, returning with more.
I don't have kids, but I have animals, and I love animals, and I know I helped a family out that looked like they was going to have to leave their animals behind.
And without so much as a cowboy's tip of the hat, he was off again, determined to save as many as he could.
Somebody's got to give them a fighting chance, too.
Now, all of those horses and animals that you saw have now been taken to shelters. They are safe, but as you can see, we just found some cats out here. There are hundreds of animals still out there waiting to be rescued. Dan?
So much more left to be done, Clayton. Thank you.